Organized money.
First of all, as a writer, hats off to Barlow. That is a remarkable piece of writing. It is a genuine, as you say, right? It stirs you. Um, and I don't agree with everything in it. I don't think that superior technology makes laws irrelevant. Uh, would that they did, right? There are lots of things where I would like to make technology make laws irrelevant. And there are instances where technology does, to a certain extent, obviate certain laws. So, for example, working encryption is amazing. With the encryption systems that we have today, you can take your distraction rectangle out of your pocket. You can aim the camera at something, press the shutter button, and in less time than it takes for your finger to release off the button, that image has been captured and scrambled so thoroughly that if every hydrogen atom in the universe was a computer and it did nothing until the end of the universe but try and guess what the key was to descramble it, you would run out of universe before you ran out of keys. And so countries can pass laws saying it's against the law to have a secret that the Secret Service can't look at. But as a practical matter, there's no way to do that unless you're prepared to say, we are also not going to have computers that can keep secrets from the mafia or from foreign spies or from corporate espionage or from griefers or whatever. And so this, like, again, like this changes the landscape, right? Like this is something new under the sun, right? The ability to have a secret that can't be known except by the consent of the parties involved. With the exception of like kidnapping someone and beating them up until they tell you the password.
Yeah, I was going to say that there is like
right.
What was that internet cartoon that's like the guy's just like, give me your password.
Yeah, that's XKCD.
Yeah, XKCD.
Yeah. You can solve this password you can break this password with a $5 billion supercomputer or a $5 wrench, right? Yeah. And we actually have a name for that in cryptography circles. We call it rubber hose cryptanalysis. Right, you tie someone to a chair and you hit them with a rubber hose until they tell you your password. And so rubber hose cryptanalysis tells you that the rule of law is not obviated by cryptography, right? That it doesn't matter how many bits you add to the key. It doesn't make rubber hose cryptanalysis harder to do. But it is absolutely the case that if you have access to working encryption, you have the ability to organize movements to demand the rule of law in a way that movements that came before could not do. And so I would say, as a kind of reformed Barlowite, as a Lutheran Barlowite, that I think that there is a role for the state, right? And that in fact there's a role for the state that is not just beneficial but desirable and even essential. That the only way you stop someone from tying you to a chair and hitting you with a rubber hose is to have an accountable democratic state. And so as much as I think cryptography is amazing, and one of the things we did at EFF, actually, our defining fight in 1992 was about civilian access to cryptography. And it's funny the way that went, because it really makes your point there, Matt, about governments and technology. So the government wanted to ban encryption, right? That was Bill Clinton and the Clipper chip. And they said, we have this cipher. It's called DES50, the Defense Encryption Standard with 50-bit long keys. And we think it's so strong that no one will be ever able to break it. But the NSA can get into it if they need to. But like foreign spies, criminals, whatever. So we argued with them at great length about this. And John Gilmore, who co-founded EFF with Mitch Kapor and who's the creator of Lotus 123, and John Perry Barlow, he built a computer called Deep Crack that is sitting next to me as I speak to you, because John got tired of having it in his garage. It cost $250,000, and in 2 hours, it could brute force all of DES 50. And so we brought this into like Congress and into regulators and into the DOJ, and we said, for $250,000, the mafia can break into every bank in America, and the Chinese can, and the Russians can, and so can kids, right? And they said, "Yeah, we don't think so, right? We don't care." And then, after various rounds of this kind of suasion, we dragged into court a grad student from UC Berkeley called Daniel Bernstein, who is publishing the source code, the program for encrypting data in a way that was more thorough than DES 50. And we said, Dan Bernstein has the First Amendment right to publish code because it is a form of expressive speech. And that was what won the day. And the reason you can get an update for your pacemaker or your anti-lock brakes without having to worry that it's been tampered with in transit is because when we won that court case, and we didn't win it by making better math. We won it by appealing to the rule of law. And so even in the earliest days, and Barlow was a strategist on that case and lauded it, and it was one of his most proud accomplishments. Even in those days, no one thought that the path to glory did not run through a responsible state.
Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification button so that more people can get exposed to organized money. Really appreciate it.
Organized money.